Good evening and welcome to the September 21st, 2016 legislative session of the Town Board. I'll officially call this meeting to order, and I'll ask that everyone please rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and I'll ask our clerk to please call the roll.
Cole. Here. LaFountain.
Here.
Metzler.
Here.
Moore.
Here.
Quinn is absent.
Thank you very much. Before we get into our public hearings this evening, and we have 5 in total, I'm going to break into 3 sessions, but 5 in total. I'd like to recognize Councilwoman Paula Metzler at the podium, and then I would like to recognize a couple of members from the Penfield Volunteer Emergency Ambulance. Karen and Dan, if you would please come to the podium as well. Karen is the president of the Penfield Ambulance, and Dan is the operations manager for Penfield Ambulance.
Okay, all right. Welcome. I think many of us in this room, including us very long-time Penfield folks, can't recall a time when we didn't have the Penfield Volunteer Emergency Ambulance. So it's our pleasure to celebrate with you 50 years of being in Penfield, and certainly coming to the aid of many, many Penfield residents, including members of my own family over the years. So I'm going to read the proclamation on behalf of the town of Penfield to our PVEA friends. Whereas the Penfield Volunteer Emergency Ambulance is celebrating its 50th anniversary in 2016, the ambulance service began with dedicated residents who banded together with the help of the Lions Club to create a volunteer organization to transport the sick and injured within the town of Penfield. These volunteers served the Penfield community with much dedication and with just one vehicle, beginning the tradition of answering the call of residents, workers, and commuters in the town of Penfield. Whereas since 1966, countless men and women have volunteered their time locally to train and serve as emergency medical personnel, heroically protecting the lives and properties of our neighbors. And whereas today the Penfield Volunteer Emergency Ambulance Agency on Jackson Road is now staffed by 75 volunteers who donate 20,000 service hours every year, plus thousands of hours of specialized training and continued education to enhance their life-saving skills. These volunteers provide professional emergency medical care to the Penfield community and its contiguous communities 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Whereas our PVA responds to more than 3,000 calls annually for heart attacks, respiratory distress, motor vehicle accidents, falls, strokes, illness, working fires, and much more. And whereas Penfield Ambulance further supports our community by hosting first aid clinics, CPR and AED training, free blood pressure screening, first aid standby at our community events, and free loans for residents of crutches, canes, and walkers. PVEA also supports walk-ins for first aid or blood pressure checks. The PVEA fleet now consists of 3 basic life support ambulances and 1 basic life support first response vehicle. Whereas the people of the town of Penfield can now sleep comfortably at night knowing that a highly trained and dedicated medical team is standing by, waiting to respond whenever emergencies arise. Now be it resolved that the Penfield Town Board congratulates the Penfield Volunteer Emergency Ambulance on 50 years of serving our Penfield community with dedication, professionalism, and vigilance. And be it further resolved that the Penfield Town Board encourages, thanks, and admires each and every member of this community who serve their neighbors in the capacity as volunteer emergency medical responders. This is dated September 21st, 2016, and signed by R. Anthony LaFountain, Supervisor, and also indicates Linda Cole, Councilwoman, Paula Metzler, Councilwoman, Andy Moore, Councilman, and Rob Quinn, Councilman. So thank you very much for coming tonight, and we are pleased to celebrate with you this year. Thank you very much.
So Karen, I can't let this opportunity go by. I mean, as the co-president, certainly we would love you to say a few words, speak a little bit about a very important event that you have coming up, and I think would be great for the community to know. and I know it's on your website, it's on our website, and but I think it's just good to highlight what will be happening.
Thank you, Tony. We are celebrating our 50th anniversary with a open house at our base at 1585 Jackson Road on October 1st from 10 to 2, and we would love you to come celebrate with us. We're having a blood pressure clinic, flu shot clinic. We're having Monroe County Sheriff's blood drive. We have a lot of children's events, games, and fire trucks and DPW trucks and all sorts of things. So it should be a great day. We have cake and all sorts of things. So come on over and celebrate with us.
Tours of the facility and the equipment, and
We
you'll
have a room with all historical pictures and equipment and old radios and things that we have had around for 50 years probably. So good, it'll be a good time.
Excellent, excellent. Well, on behalf of the town board and the entire community of Penfield, congratulations and thank you, and all of your membership for 50 years of service to this community and what you do to support this community. We couldn't do it without you. Your dedicated members that are there around the clock or all kinds of weather, and we just thank you for that commitment.
Thank you.
All
Our
right.
open hours are 10 to 2 p.m. I saw on the board it was 1 to 4.
Great, okay, so 10 to 2
10 to
versus
2.
1 to 4, 10 to 2. And we'll make sure that information
We're
is
praying for good
correct.
weather.
We'll keep our fingers crossed. All right. Thank you again, and congratulations. Thank you for coming in. Okay, I'll ask our clerk to please read the first notice of public hearing number 1.
To adopt local law number 2 of 2016, to be known as the Town of Penfield Best Value Contract Award Law. The legal notice was published in the Penfield Post on September 8th, 2016, posted on the town website and town clerk bulletin board. No postcards were mailed due to this being a townwide action.
Great, thank you very much. Mr. Horowitz, is this properly before the board? It is. Thank you. I would like to recognize our town budget director, Barbara Churto, to give us a brief overview of this local law.
Thank you, Supervisor LaFountain. Essentially, the Best Value Contract Award allows us the opportunity to award contracts to bidders to optimize quality, cost, and efficiency, and take into account other factors other than just pricing for low bidders. This was added to general municipal law by the comptroller. So now we can consider such non-price factors as reliability, efficiency of operation, useful lifespan, the ability to meet needs regarding timeliness and performance. So it gives us a little more latitude to get a little more quality and reliability from our contract awards. That's essentially the nuts and bolts of it.
Excellent, excellent. Board, any question for Barbara on this? I know we've had an opportunity to speak about this and review this, but any questions or discussion for Barbara on this matter?
So just to clarify, it's essentially conforming to what the state promulgated
Yes.
in the general municipal law. So we're kind of mirroring on a local level what the state has put into play as being permissible at a state level.
Correct.
And so now we can also do that at the local level.
Correct.
Other questions or comments? Okay. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to discuss this very exciting and stimulating matter, being the Best Value Contract Award law and legislation? Okay. Seeing none, one last opportunity for the board. Any questions? Or Barbara, any additional comments on this proposed local law?
No.
Okay. Seeing none, then I'll declare this public hearing closed. Thank you very much, and I'll ask our clerk to move on to the next hearing.
Thank you.
To consider the establishment of Windsor Ridge Subdivision Special Improvement District, the establishment of Extension number 59 to the Penfield Consolidated Sanitary Sewer, and to consider adoption of the Windsor Ridge Intensified Sidewalk District number 19. The legal notice was published in the Penfield Post on September 8, 2016, posted on the town website and town clerk bulletin board. 184 postcards were mailed.
Great, thank you. Mr. Horowitz, is this properly before the board?
Yes, it is.
Thank you very much. Tonight, I would first like to recognize Mark Valentine, who is our town engineer and director of our planning department. And Mark, if you would, at a very high level, give us an overview and then introduce us to the engineer to your left to go into a little bit more detail.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor, and thank you, Board. Tonight, bringing forth 3 districts, all within the Windsor Ridge subdivision. This was a project that was before the Planning Board. The Planning Board has approved that subdivision. It's actually just started in construction. But as part of that is bringing it to this board to form the districts. So there's 3 districts before the board this evening, one being forming the sidewalks, one is for an extension to the sanitary sewer districts, and the third is for creation of a special improvement district. The special improvement district is for the area of the pond and the open space area, so that the neighbors of that development are paying for the whether if they wanted improvements to that or the condition of that area and how that is maintained. The neighbors already pay a drainage fee, so the town would maintain the pond as far as the overall functionality of the pond and how that happens. But the district is, if they wanted any additional niceties or betterments to that the costs are borne by the residents in that neighborhood. So I'll turn over
and not townwide.
and not townwide. So if they wanted a fountain or they wanted something else and the neighbors were for it, we have a taxing entity available that's already established with the creation of these districts that can be done through that. So I'll turn it over, Rich Teed, Marathon Engineering, to kind of go through the metes and bounds of the property and explain a bit more about the district itself.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. Windsor Ridge is located at the corner of Atlantic Ave and 5 Mile Line Road. It consists of about 42.5 acres, and it is going to be 86 lots. So all lots will be serviced by the sanitary sewer. Sidewalks are going to run along both Atlantic and 5 Mile Line roads. There will be a connection into the site and loop around the inside loop of the site on the main road. We also have a side road with a cul-de-sac that will not have the sidewalks on. The special improvement district, as he noted, is in the open space area, primarily along 5 Mile Line Road and Atlantic Ave, and primarily takes care of the 2 stormwater facilities. That open space comprises, if I remember right, about 8.7 acres. As noted, we are in construction for Section 1, and they're getting that up and running, and I imagine we're going to be into the planning board relatively soon to get Section 2 going, because Ryan Holmes is really raring to go and get some houses sold out here.
Okay, all right. Board, so we're holding one public hearing for this subdivision, but on 3 different aspects of it: sidewalk, sewers, and then the special improvement district. And so I'd ask the board any specific questions for the engineer or for staff as it relates to the sidewalk component.
I have one just regarding, I don't know if it's for Mark or for you, connectivity. You mentioned sidewalks on 5 Mile Line and Atlantic. Where do they go? Are they connecting up to existing sidewalks? Is there some plan for that, or are they merely just a piece of sidewalk in front of this subdivision?
Currently, they will not connect on either end, but this board has authorized doing sidewalks on Atlantic Avenue, kind of closing that gap. And then on 5 Mile Line, we're only 1 or 2 lots short of connecting to Rothfuss Park to the north end. So now that this comes in, I'm surmising that'll be one of my priority items going into next year in the 2017 sidewalk budget, is to fill that gap in as they establish their piece. Now we can have some connectivity to Rothfuss Park. That'll actually complete the piece on 5 Mile Line, so people walking north could walk past Windsor Ridge connect in and then go to Rothfuss Park, and then we're already working on making connections on Atlantic Avenue to complete that block as well. So while this doesn't directly tie in on either end at the moment, we're very close, and this is a key piece that'll further the town's plan for connectivity.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Other questions or comments on the sidewalk component? Okay, let's shift to the sanitary sewer piece. As was indicated, all of the lots will be serviced by sanitary sewers. Those sanitary sewers are installed by the developer, and then in turn would be dedicated to the town. So any questions or comments on the sanitary sewer component?
Mark, real quickly, are there any capacity issues with this development and existing sewers in that area?
There are not. This area is one area that we do have good capacity for sanitary sewers. It was always intended for development in that area. It was zoned R115, so this is kind of the last piece. We had the Terrace Hill piece, the Pennicott piece, Lone Oak, and this is the last leg of that four-legged piece. So utilities were extended under 5 Mile Line for this in the past. Storm and Sanitary expected this was going to be developed at some point in the future.
Okay, thank you.
In addition to the sidewalks, certainly if residents in adjoining areas hear sewers, that can conjure up many different questions as to what they can expect. Neighboring residents or, people in the area, what can they expect with respect to this part of the project and the connectivity of the sewers and the sidewalks, and is it all happening all at the same time, or?
Yeah, the sewers are being installed currently. There was some minor blasting that was done out there that is completed, that is done. They did some assessments of neighboring properties for the sanitary just due to the rock, but that infrastructure is being installed as they go along, and the sanitary is being put in. So as far as the impact to neighboring properties, they wouldn't see any issue concerned with the sanitary sewers. It'll connect into existing infrastructure underground, and then it'll extend section by section as they build the homes, and then they'll tie in and then they'll join the townwide sewer district.
So no interruption, no impact to neighboring
No,
sewer
there'll be no
usage?
no stoppage, blockage, anything to connect these in. They'll tie into existing pipes that are out there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Other questions or comments about the sanitary sewer component? And then lastly, the special improvement district. Any questions, board? And again, that relates primarily to those two areas that are stormwater management that run along Atlantic Avenue. Any questions for Mark or the engineer of the project?
No.
Okay. Gentlemen, stick tight. We do have a few folks in the audience, so we want to make sure we give them. So leave that right there, if you will. At this time, I'd like to reach out to the audience. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address this as Windsor Ridge Subdivision, and any questions, comments, concerns, or issues as it relates to the sidewalks, sanitary sewers, or the special improvement district?
I have Gwendolyn Campbell.
Great. Thank you. Gwendolyn, if you would please just come to the podium. Thank you very much.
Thank you, board members and my fellow neighbors here in Penfield. Actually, I think my question was answered as it relates to the sewers, the component that we will no longer have any blasting. I live on Terrace Hill Drive, which is directly across from it, so I've heard some blasting. And I was kind of questioning when was it going to stop? And how was it going to impact me and my neighbors on that Terrace Hill Drive portion? And I think you answered that for me, along with the board's question, so I think that was it. In addition, I did have a question, and I'm not sure if it falls within this time frame for this set of questions as it relates to Windsor. I was really concerned about the egress and ingress as it relates to the overall project itself. As far as the fact that Atlantic is 2 lanes, 5 Mile Line is 2 lanes. I have a number of neighbors that work in the downtown area, so we're heading out that direction on a daily basis at a particular time frame. I have not seen anything that gives me any indication that there's going to be special lights, special traffic lighting, traffic lanes, or anything like that developed along with the project, it being well over 80 particular parcels. So we're saying at least 80 additional cars to my thinking. So I was just concerned about that and didn't know if this was a forum that was going to answer that question or not.
This public hearing relates to those three areas, sidewalks. But what I would encourage Mark, and I see that he's taken a cue already.
Okay, thank you.
Mark, being our Director of Planning as well as our town engineer, a lot of those questions and comments were vetted out during the planning board process. And then Mark would be more than happy to make some time to either get together and take a look at the plans and then share the information that was discussed at the planning board at your convenience.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right?
Appreciate
Great.
it.
Thank you very much. And then I'll ask our clerk to also give your contact information to Mr. Valentine. So between the two of you, we'll give you the opportunity to connect.
Okay, thank you
Great.
very much.
Thank you. Seeing no
May I add one
others signed
thing?
up, is there, I'm sorry.
On the blasting, a majority of the blasting is done there. I just wanted to clarify that in the future sections, there may be a minor need, but we did make adjustments to the sewer to bring that up out of the rock, and they're just about out of the rock at the end of section 1.
Okay.
So I just wanted to clarify, in the future sections, there may be some minimal need for blasting, nothing like what they had to go through for section 1.
Okay.
Is
Great.
there any notification that your company or your client does to neighboring residents as to when that is going to occur?
They would have to come back to the planning board for section 2.3. They basically got a preliminary overall and a final for section 1. So I believe the blasting for section 1 is complete.
Okay.
If they came back for section 2.3, whatever, we'd come back before the planning board at a public hearing. We would make that notification.
So you're
to the
referencing future phases?
Future
Okay,
phases.
thank you,
The
thank you,
blasting
okay.
for now is done as far as what they're
Okay.
approved for. Future phases, if they had to do additional blasting, they'd come back before the planning board. We'd have a public hearing. The public would be notified. We would send out postcards notifying them of the public hearing as well.
Okay, and that would be just for just, would it be readily available to the public as far as if I get a postcard, I know that this is going to be where I can learn about the blasting?
I mean, we would basically send out the postcard that they're having the next phase of the development into that. We typically post the application on the webpage and as well as the site plan information on there. We can make a special note if any blasting is to be required as part of that section on the webpage.
Because I think that'd be a real, any efforts even beyond what's required, given that obviously there was some concern during phase 1, and I'm just thinking of various types of, sleeping babies and and otherwise during the, there you go, twice, or those who may have a particular sensitivity to noise.
And the contractor is making every effort to do as much as he can without the blasting.
Yeah, and I would say just if there's, that should be a flag to, that residence is around there, anything that can be done. I don't think that folks mind being disturbed to be told that, in advance something's going to be happening. It's kind of like we tell people when fireworks are going to be going off. It's about the same thing, I think. So thank you for any efforts that additionally can be done in the
Yes.
next 2 phases.
Thank you. Thank you. So that is that it as far as those that formally signed up?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to address this matter? Again, this is the Windsor Ridge Subdivision, sanitary sewers, sidewalks, or special improvement districts. Okay. Board, one last opportunity. Any additional questions or comments for the applicant or staff? And then the applicant and staff, anything addition you'd like to add to the record that we have not already discussed this evening regarding these 3 districts that are looking to be formed?
Nothing further.
I don't think of anything in the districts, just to let the resident know, we have been in conversation with the state and the county DOT about improvements to that intersection. They are looking at it. I'll be glad to meet with any resident that has any additional questions, but just since we're on TV for it, put it out there that it is on the state's list. It is on their radar to look at, and we are looking at what improvements can be done to that intersection. We are aware of the existing traffic concerns.
And in the past, I recall there are some existing potential modification, or existing factors within the roadway now that could could lend well to those improvements.
And as part of this subdivision and part of Terrace Hill, we did take some additional right-of-way. We're taking the right-of-way along Atlantic Avenue and 5 Mile Line to accommodate if future expansion or roadway widening needs to happen. That's been taken under consideration with this approval.
Yeah, and so while certainly we work very well with the county and the state, those are county roads and state roads, and so that's why there needs to be that synergy between the municipalities.
Okay. So I apologize from the first public hearing and these, and then the next one that we have. Want to talk about next steps. So next steps, the next opportunity that this board will have conversations on those public hearings that we had this evening will be next Wednesday night. We'll do that as part of our work session. We'll do it right here in the back of the auditorium. Those are open to the public. They're also transmitted on Penfield TV as well. And that will be the next opportunity that the board will take these matters up for discussion. I would encourage everyone, as always, to take a look at the agenda. The agenda will come out early afternoon Friday prior to the meeting, and you'll see a listing of those items on the agenda, not only for the legislative session, but next week for the work session. So that would be the next opportunity the board would discuss these matters. All right, thank you very much. I'll declare this public hearing closed for these 3 matters on Windsor Ridge, and I'll ask our clerk to read the final public hearing this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
To consider the establishment of extension number 58 to the Penfield Consolidated Sanitary Sewer District known for Barclay Park. The legal notice was published in the Penfield Post on September 8th, 2016, posted on the town website and the town clerk bulletin board. 66 postcards were mailed.
Thank you very much. Mr. Horowitz, this is properly before the board?
Yes, it is.
All right. Again, I'll recognize Mark Valentine, who is our Director of Engineering, and, our town engineer and Director of Planning for the town. And if you'd please give us an overview of this particular public hearing.
Again, thank you, Board. Here tonight to discuss the extension of Extension 56, sanitary sewer extension for Barclay Park. We're only looking at the sanitary sewer piece because it is a private development. So it'll have a homeowners association for the condo units, so there is no sidewalks internally, and the pond would be handled privately by them, so there's no special improvement district. So this is an expansion to the Consolidated District, the extension 58. We do have confirmation from the town of Webster that there is sewer capacity in there. We do have the map and description laying out that area. This was a project that was previously before the town board for site plan approval, went through the site plan approval process, now into the district formations. There is only one owner, so the petition is solely from the developer of the property. So I'd like to introduce Eric. He's here on behalf, unless the board has some initial questions, he's here on behalf of the owner for Barclay Park to give a little bit more information and then answer any questions that the board may have.
Thank you.
Okay. Eric, welcome.
Thank you.
You drew the short straw tonight?
Yeah, I did, yes.
All right, very good.
But I'm here, so
Excellent.
that's good. Yeah, as Mark already addressed, Webster has agreed to the additional capacity of the sewers. Also, the developer is bearing the cost of the construction of the sanitary sewers as well, so there's no cost associated with that for the town. And also, the eventual homeowners are going to be taking care of the costs of the maintenance of that sewer system.
As part of the homeowners association.
Yep.
Okay. Board question for the applicant or for staff?
Nope.
No, we have discussed this quite a bit at not only at public hearing, but also at work session follow-ups. And I think we vetted out most everything along there. I think the big issue was the question around capacity and the town of Webster, and that has been confirmed that that there is capacity and they're permitted to tie into that system. Other questions or comments from the board? Okay, seeing none. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address this matter? This is Barclay Subdivision, Route 250, right adjacent to the Penfield-Webster town line. Any questions or comments from any members of the audience? Okay, seeing none. Board, one last opportunity. Additional comments for the applicant? And staff or the applicant, any additional comments for the record that you believe are pertinent to this hearing that are not already entered into the record?
Nope.
Okay, great. Then the same holds true as previously noted. The next opportunity to discuss this will be next Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. at work session. I would encourage you to take a look at the agenda. And seeing no further items on this public hearing, I'll declare the public hearing officially closed. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we will continue on with our agenda, and we'll start with communications and announcements. And I'll recognize our town clerk, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Taxpayers may pay their school tax bill in full up through Monday, October 3rd, 2016, since the due date of October 1st falls on a weekend. Also, please make sure you include your page 2 of your bill when sending in the payment for our processing purposes. Also, our next passport night will be held on Thursday, October 6th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. here at the Town Hall, 3100 Atlantic Avenue. Residents may apply for a passport book or a passport card by providing either a certified copy of a birth certificate with parents' names listed on it and a raised seal. You can also provide naturalization papers or provide an old passport issued in the person's name. Proof of identity is also required in the form of a valid New York State driver's license, a valid military ID, or naturalization papers issued to the applicant as an adult. Residents may download a passport application to complete in advance by going online to the U.S. Department of State's travel website at travel.state.gov/passport. We will have those applications at the passport event. And if you need any other information, please email me at steckloff@penfield.org, or you can contact me by calling my number 340-8629. Thank you.
I have 2 announcements tonight. As we heard earlier, on Saturday, October 1st, the Penfield Volunteer Emergency Ambulance will be holding their 2016 open house from 1 to 4 p.m. The American Red Cross will be holding a blood drive, along with Rite Aid Pharmacy, which will be holding a flu shot clinic from 1 to 2 p.m. First aid and CPR demonstrations will be offered. Tours of the base will be available to show off all of their recent renovations. There will be kids' games and craft stations, and cider and donuts will be provided. Alongside of all the entertainment, members with 25-plus years of service will be showing historical memorabilia in their boardroom to help portray their last 50 years of service. For more information about the PVEA, please visit their website at www.penfieldambulance.org. Also, the town of Penfield will host a one-day recycling event for Penfield residents on Saturday, October 8th, from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Public Works Complex, 1607 Jackson Road. Services for the day are secure document destruction, metals and appliance recycling, brush disposal, and clothing and linens donations. Please note there will be no electronics recycling at this event. Most private trash haulers collect materials year-round that were traditionally brought to our fall drop-off. The town will host its traditional general collection spring drop-off in 2017, when tires, furniture, and other household debris will be accepted. Recycling Day is for Penfield residents only. Proof of residence will be checked at the gate. Please direct any questions you may have to the Department of Public Works at 340-8710 or visit penfield.org for more details. And I just wanted to add, I mentioned there will be no electronics recycling at the event on Saturday, October 8th, but this Saturday at Bishop Kearny High School, Senator Rich Funke will be holding a free electronics recycling event. Saturday, September 24th, from 9:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., again at Bishop Kearny with Senator Rich Funke. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Just one announcement. Our friends at Atria Senior Living reached out to us earlier this week, and Charlene Wywell, who is the executive director, And Marissa Finger, who is the Engaging Life Director, wanted to share with us these bracelets, which is for World Gratitude Day. And they just wanted to reach out and to say thank you to all of our police, our fire, our EMS, and a number of our public officials. And I just want to recognize the Atria Senior Living. They're a wonderful group located here on 5 Mile Line Road, and they add so much value, as do all of our senior living facilities, and add a very nice dimension to the overall Penfield community. So thank you to Atria and to all of their staff for that. Mr. Moore.
Thank you, Supervisor. The Family First Penfield 5K Challenge, it's the 14th one, will be held on Sunday, October 2nd. This 14th annual race will begin at the Penfield Community Center at 1985 Baird Road, starting at 9 a.m. Registration is now open. Runners who register before September 26th will receive the early bird rate of $20. Those registering between September 27th and September 30th will pay a fee of $25, and those who register the day of the race, the fee will be $30. The first 150 runners to register will receive a commemorative T-shirt. Additional information on this race and registration are available at penfieldrec.org. For questions, please call Penfield Recreation at 340-8655, extension 6. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I have two. Thanks. I have two announcements. Penfield's annual bike drop will be held Saturday, October 1st from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Penfield Community Center. Used bicycles will be collected by Penfield Rotary and donated to Our Community Bikes, a Rochester-based organization that repairs and distributes bicycles free of charge to Rochester's needy children and adults. Its mission is to meet the basic transportation needs of those in the community who depend on bikes to get to work, school, rehabilitation programs, training sessions, as well as for recreation. More information about Our Community Bikes can be found at www.ourcommunitybikes.net. Receipts will be provided documenting all the donations. The bike drop is free and open to the public and sponsored by Penfield Rotary and Penfield Recreation. And my other announcement is my next community chat will be Tuesday, October 18th, 5:30 to 7, in the new book area at the library.
Great, thank you. All right. You're all good, Mr. Horowitz? All right, very good. We'll move on to public participation. There are two opportunities to address the board on any matter at this time, and then again at the end of the agenda after our resolutions. You can do that one of three ways. If you're here in the audience, you can call in at 340-8771, or you can log on at penfield.org. And I would ask, is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the board on any matter? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to additions and deletions to the agenda. Is the board, town clerk or town attorney have any additions or deletions to the agenda this evening? Okay, seeing none. We have our minutes of August 3rd, 2016 before us, and would entertain a motion of approval for those minutes.
I move the minutes of August 3rd be approved.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on those minutes? Seeing none, I'd ask for a roll call vote of approval, please.
Cole.
Aye.
The Fountain.
Aye.
Metzler. Aye. Moore.
Aye.
4 ayes.
Thank you. The next item, petitions. Has the board, town clerk, or town attorney received any petitions since our last get-together? Okay, seeing none, then we'll move on to resolution by function, starting with law and finance.
Authorization for supervisor to sign a contract with MRB Group, PC, to prepare the seeker documents for the mixed-use development district.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas the town board of the town of Penfield desires to create a new mixed-use zoning district within the community as recommended by the town's 2010 comprehensive plan. Whereas the town board subsequently held a public hearing on May 4th, 2016 to allow the public to comment on the proposed amendments and to the official zoning ordinance and official map, including the creation of a new mixed-use zoning district. Whereas the action of the creation of the mixed-use zoning district, the adoption of amendments and to the zoning ordinance and zoning map to support the mixed-use district, and the acceptance of the mixed-use manual, anticipated growth, and land use changes and recommendations, and recommends additional regulations and guidelines to properly manage said growth and land use changes within the mixed-use district. Now therefore be it resolved that the supervisor hereby is authorized to sign a contract with MRB Group to prepare the draft generic environmental impact statement as required by the seeker process through the state of New York. Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, I'd ask for a roll call vote, please.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
4 ayes. Authorization for supervisor to sign a contract with SRF Associates to perform a planning-level traffic assessment as part of the seeker determination for the mixed-use development district.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas the town board of the town of Penfield desires to create a new mixed-use zoning district within the community as recommended by the 2010 Penfield Comprehensive Plan. Whereas on July 20th, 2016, the town board declared itself lead agency in Resolution 16T-164 for the SEEKR State Environmental Quality Review Act for the rezoning process and determined that the proposed action may have high significant impact on the environment if adopted. Whereas the town of Penfield sought quotes for professional traffic assessment services for the draft generic environmental impact statement within the town of Penfield. Whereas these services were contemplated as part of the original project scope and therefore do not require additional funds to be allocated. Therefore be it resolved that SRF Associates on Winton Place in Rochester is awarded the contract to provide professional services for traffic assessment within the town of Penfield. Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
4 ayes. Authorization to maintain properties and assess the charges to the property tax bills.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas on December 16, 2015, the town board adopted a resolution to enact Local Law 3 of 2015 entitled A Local Law to Provide for the Codification of the Local Laws, Ordinances, and Certain Resolutions of the Town of Penfield into a municipal code to be designated the Code of the Town of Penfield. Whereas the purpose of the Code of the Town of Penfield includes, among other things, to provide for the safety, health, protection, and general welfare of persons and property in the Town of Penfield by requiring the maintenance of all such properties within the town. Whereas the property owners at 124 Beacon Hill Drive South, 60 Kyle Drive, and 176 Parkview Drive have failed to maintain subject properties in accordance with the applicable code requirements, which is resulting in a concern for safety, health protection, and general welfare of the surrounding properties. Whereas the town staff has continually requested the maintenance of subject properties by their owners with no result. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Penfield hereby authorizes the fire marshal and building zoning code compliance supervisor to have the properties properly maintained. Be it further resolved that this town board authorizes that said cost of maintenance and any additional maintenance during the 2016 season also be charged to the property tax bill of that specific property. Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion? Seeing no further discussion, roll call vote, please.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
4 ayes. Authorization to advertise for bids to maintain properties in accordance with the requirements of the Code of the Town of Penfield.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas the purpose of the Code of Town of Penfield includes, among other things, to provide for the safety, health protection, and general welfare of persons and property in the Town of Penfield. Whereas the Town of Penfield Building and Zoning Department has the need to arrange for maintenance of properties that are not meeting the minimum maintenance requirements of this code. Now therefore be it resolved that the fire marshal and building, zoning, and code compliance supervisor be and hereby is authorized to advertise in a manner prescribed by law for sealed proposals for the maintenance of such properties that have failed to maintain in accordance to the requirements of the Code of the Town of Penfield. Be it further resolved that the services covered by such proposal shall be in accordance with the specifications prepared by the town's fire marshal and building, zoning, and code compliance supervisor. Thank you.
Thank you. This is something typically you might find at our organizational meeting. The reason we do it at this time is that we go out for quotes. Bid openings will be on the 17th of October. Gives this board an opportunity to review those and then to be ready to have a contract in place by January 1st, because unfortunately we may have a need to have properties maintained as early as January 1st and into the new year. Typically it's for grass cutting, but occasionally we do have some other things that we have to do to the properties to make them safe, not only for people, but also surrounding properties. Seeing no further discussion, I'd ask for a roll call vote.
Cole?
Aye.
The Fountain?
Aye.
Metzler?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
4 ayes. Revision to adopted investment policy.
Moved.
Second.
Be it resolved that the current town investment policy be revised for bank name changes, collateralized amounts, and updated language consistent with the state comptroller recommendations as per the attachment here within. Be it further resolved that such revised policy take effect immediately.
Thank you. Discussion? So as not to confuse this resolution with the hearing that we had earlier. The hearing we had earlier was for the best value contract award law or legislation. This is with regards to town investment policy to update the bank to make sure that we have the right bank listed in the investment policy, as well as the amounts to be identified, and then consistent with the state comptroller's office as it relates to specific language within the policy. Seeing no further discussion, I would ask for a roll call vote, please.
Cole?
Aye.
The Fountain?
Aye.
Metzler?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
4 ayes. Budget transfers for PCTV.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas the cable TV coordinator has a need to transfer funds from the contractual level in the cable television account A008989 to the equipment level in said account. Whereas the town board desires to have an up-to-date budget in relation to current income and expenditures. Now therefore be it resolved that the following 2016 budget transfers be approved. From maintenance for video equipment in the amount of $45,159 to cable TV equipment in the amount of $45,159. Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, I'd ask for a roll call vote, please.
Cole?
Aye.
The Fountain?
Aye.
Metzler?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
4 ayes. Authorize the supervisor and town comptroller to go on a trip to New York City for meetings with credit rating agency.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas the town is subject to review and rating by Moody Investor Services in regard to undertaking a bond for the Parkview White Village Sewer Project. And whereas the town's financial consultant, Bernard P. Donegan, Incorporated, has recommended an on-site meeting at the Moody's offices. Whereas there is funding in the 2016 budget. Now therefore be it resolved that the town supervisor and town comptroller be authorized for a one-day trip to New York City on November 17th, 2016. Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, I'd ask for a roll call vote, please.
Cole?
Aye.
The Fountain?
Aye.
Metzler?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
4 ayes. Granting approval to allow a garage addition with less side setback than permitted at 1750 Penfield Road.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas an application has been received by the Penfield Town Board pursuant to 250-5.10-C of the code to consider permitting an additional garage with less side setback than permitted at 1750 Penfield Road in the Four Corners zoning district. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Penfield held a public hearing at the Penfield Town Hall on September 7th, 2016 at 7 p.m. to consider the said application as amended by the applicant and to hear all persons interested in the question of permitting this addition to the garage. Be it resolved that the applicant's proposal as amended is classified as a Type 2 action pursuant to the requirements of the State Environmental Quality Review Act, known as SEQR, and no additional environmental review regarding this proposal is necessary. Be further resolved that the applicant's request for a garage addition with less side setback at 1750 Penfield Road is hereby granted, subject to the following conditions. And I'd like, just for the record, Mr. Supervisor, that we vetted this pretty extensively during the public hearing, and I believe this all falls within standards of the Four Corners zoning district. Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, I'd ask for a roll call vote, please.
Cole?
Aye.
LaFountain?
Aye.
Metzler?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
4 ayes. Naming of a survey consultant to the town of Penfield.
Moved.
Second.
Be it resolved that Edwin A. Summerhays is named the survey consultant for the town of Penfield, and be it further resolved that the supervisor is authorized to sign a contract with Edwin Summerhays as outlined in his letter on file with the town clerk, which includes a schedule of fees for various services provided by Edwin A. Summerhays, land surveyor, as a surveying consultant to the town of Penfield for 2016. Be it further resolved that the town board reserves the option to assign specific projects to internal staff and to other qualified surveying firms in addition to Summerhays Surveying as necessary to represent the town. Such other qualified firms will be compensated for the business referred to them during 2016 at an agreed-upon fee depending on the nature of the services performed.
Thank you. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, I'd ask for a roll call vote, please.
Cole? Aye. LaFountain?
Aye.
Metzler?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
4 ayes. Naming of a second survey consultant to the town of Penfield.
Moved.
Second.
Be it resolved that BME Associates is named as survey consultant for the town of Penfield, and be it further resolved that the supervisor is authorized to sign a contract with BME Associates as outlined in their proposal on file with the town clerk, which includes a schedule of fees for various services provided by BME Associates as a surveying consultant to the town of Penfield for 2016. Be it further resolved that the town board does reserve the option to assign specific projects to internal staff and to other qualified surveying firms, in addition to BME Associates, as necessary to represent the town. Such other qualified firms will be compensated for the business referred to them during 2016 at the agreed-upon fee, depending on the nature of the services to be performed.
All right, thank you. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, these two items were reviewed at work session last Wednesday on the 14th. And the discussion by the board at that time was to award 2 contracts, which allowed a combination of 1 person or 2 people survey crews, so we could take advantage of the best cost associated with those engineering and surveying firms. Seeing no further discussion, I'd ask for a roll call vote, please.
Cole?
Aye.
LaFountain?
Aye.
Metzler?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
4 ayes. Authorization for supervisor to sign recreation contracts.
So moved.
Second.
This authorizes the town supervisor to sign 3 recreation contracts, and they're for instructors of sporty camp, and co-chairs of sports camp. Sporty Sprouts.
Sports Sprouts.
Yeah.
All right.
3 times
Sporty
fast.
Sprouts.
Sporty Sprouts.
All right. Discussion, further discussion. Seeing no further discussion, I'd ask for a roll call vote, please.
Cole?
Aye.
LaFountain?
Aye.
Metzler?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
4 ayes.
Thank you. This brings us to the end of our resolutions this evening. Is there any old business to come before the board tonight? Seeing none, is there any new business to come before this board this evening? Again, seeing none, this is the second opportunity for public participation. Again, if you're here in the audience, 340-8771 or at penfield.org. Is there anyone that would like to address the board on any matter? Okay, seeing none and seeing no further business to come before the board, the September 21st, 2016 Town Board Legislative Session stands adjourned at 7:54 p.m. Thank you to everyone that participated. Have a great evening. Thank you to Penfield TV.